Beautiful. All right. Good evening, everybody. It is approximately 6 o'clock, 6:01 on June 15th. This is the meeting of the Golf Commission. Welcome, everybody. In case you don't know, we do this every third Thursday, so we will have all you here, for your comments. All right, call to order. Commissioners, all the commissioners are here with the exception of Commissioner Bocchini. Commissioner DeFazio. Commissioner Fazio is via Zoom. All right, first thing is audience of citizens.
Hi, my name is Fran Mazzarella. I live at 362 Lower Lane in Berlin. I'm here to represent the Teacop Foundation. I happen to be the president. We do have some other board members present here. We also have committee members. The reason that we're here tonight is we know we were the topic of your agenda last meeting, and there was a lot of things said that we're just really want some answers to why, and we've never been informed of any of the things that were mentioned in your meeting last time, and we're hoping to get some answers from everybody. There was lots of items mentioned. One of them was that they never received a deposit. I personally drove to Timberland on March 3rd and handed the deposit check into Mark's office. Mark and I correspond all the time. Mark never once called me and said, "Hey, Fran, I never got your $250 check." They think it was maybe misplaced. If somebody had made the phone call, we would have been happy to come back up with that check. There was a lot of things said in the meeting that we would just like to know, why we were the center of your discussion, and we weren't able to rebuttal to anything. And if somebody can give us some light on some stuff, that would be great. I don't know if anybody wants to speak to any of the things that were said.
Fran, what were some of the what were the comments there?
All right, so first of all, in 7 years, nobody has ever mentioned once to us that there was any issues with our tournament. One of the issues that was brought up was that we had more than 144 golfers and that we rented golf carts. Mark has been aware that we've rented golf carts. In the contract, it says that we are able to have more than 144 golfers. It's just that the town of Berlin isn't required to provide those carts. So we have a huge turnout. We don't want our tournament to go somewhere else because we want to support the town of Berlin. And we've done that over the past 8 years. We've given the town of Berlin close to $100,000 in this tournament between par for the course and the actual golf course. There was also a comment made that we should take our tournament, maybe we should take our tournament down the street. We don't know what that meant and why it was said. There's just been there's a lot of stuff that was brought up that really didn't sit well with us. Mark said that, obviously with the cart issue, we rented them, we paid for them out of our funds to provide the golfers with the carts. If we had allowed them to walk, it would have taken 10 times longer for the tournament to run with walkers. So we chose to do that. Yeah. Our time on the course, we're probably close to 5.5 hours for 172 golfers. That's pretty darn good. It was also mentioned that we're taking up too much time on the course. I mean, we were never told there was a time limit. Ramsey doesn't have any issue with us coming in to eat dinner 5:30, 5:45 at night. Is there a time limit? I mean, it doesn't say that there is in the contract, but it was.
That was said?
Yep, it was said. Yep.
What else? Go ahead, keep going.
I'll keep going.
We'll discuss more.
It was also said that Robin Kopp gets whatever she wants. Well, I can tell you that Robin is probably one of the most passionate people I know. And when she wants something to get done, she pursues it. But she doesn't get it because of who she is, it's because it's probably the right thing that needs to happen, and that's why she gets it done. She's gotten a lot of things done in this town. And we've done a lot of things in this town with the funds that we've raised through this tournament. I don't know if everybody knows this, I meant to say this in the beginning. The reason we started this tournament was they lost their son Tyler in 2015. And this is a great way to remember him. And the people that are in this room and those 172 golfers, plus the other 50 or so that come for dinner, come to support this family because they deserve it for one thing, and they're wonderful people, and they've gone through a horrible loss. So this tournament really is in their hometown. They want to keep it here. We're really baffled by was said in this last meeting. We've never had any issues on the course. I don't know if somebody else thinks we did. We've never been disrespectful. We've never damaged anything. There was just a lot of stuff said that really was uncalled for. Do you have anything else that you want to add in?
Robin Kopp, 65 Division Street, East Berlin, Connecticut. I'm saddened by the way you guys ran your commission meeting. People in town actually had to tell me about it, and then I watched it, and it was very disheartening. I'm going to back Fran up that I'm a citizen my entire life, and I've done better for this town in a lot of different ways, and I'm respected by a lot of different people, companies, whatever you want to call it in this town. But for you to actually bash us and not have the ability to sit here and come back, I don't even understand what the commission does. I would think that the commission, your goal is to better the golf course, better monetary outcomes of the golf course, and bring in taxpayers that can actually golf on the golf course. And I hear so much about people talking about this golf course and how it's run. The thing I was disheartened about is Billy Pager has been sitting by my side since this happened, and you guys brought up that it's a conflict of interest. This kid is passionate. You're not a kid anymore, before so he is so passionate about that golf course and what it looks like and how it's run. For you to even have that come out of your mouth, whoever said that, you should be ashamed of yourself. He treats every tournament, everybody I talk to that has a tournament there, the Manzies, the Lee Foundation, the Berlin Baseball, say that the course is unbelievable because of your grounds crew. But to bring him out and single him out because he's on my committee to support me is sad. Very sad. I don't feel that you guys supported me, my son's efforts, what I do in this town, or our tournament by coming in here and not even having the dignity to tell us that we could sit here. We have never had a complaint. If anybody had a complaint with us and we sat at a table, and by the way, Shadow Meadow, other facilities, have meetings with their people for tournaments. I'm lucky if I can even get a word in, not with you, Sol, because you're new, but up to this point. I go and I find Mark on the driving range, I find him wherever I can find him. He's never down in the pro shop. Fran deals with him via emails. So a lot of the communication does not fall on us. We pretty much ran this tournament. We were never told we were doing anything wrong. We were never told we couldn't do cards. We were never told we couldn't have 172 people. And matter of fact, the people up to this point, Zook, who was before whoever, Sol maybe, right? Jerry, everybody, our tournament usually runs smoothly. And then there was mention of alcohol. I don't know one golf course that, I don't know if you guys are going to censor and look at everybody's when they come to the course, okay? But when I run it by, what's his name, Ramsey has absolutely no problem with us. No problem with us. We have never been disrespectful. The course looks beautiful when we're done. There's not stuff laying everywhere. I just don't understand where all these complaints came from, and I'm extremely distraught. And I'm here out of respect because, yes, I get what I want when I want it because I pursue it and I work hard for it. I don't have people go against the rules to do it for me. I fight for what I believe in. I could have packed this room. It wasn't about that. It was about how you guys handled yourself and didn't even give us the respect to sit here and say, this is what we see, this is what has happened to us. I could go on and on, that's all I'm going to say.
I will say this, Fran, I'm sorry, Robin and Fran, that I did talk to Sal today, and I said, you know, I think, truthfully, one of the things that has been missing is lack of communication. And him and I both we had this conversation. We had this conversation this afternoon. I said, you know, a lot of problems could be solved with simple communication. Just talking. Sit down and talk, right? I mean, every tournament, at least one meeting, and something to this size of yours, right? And Lee are probably the two biggest ones out there. 2 or 3, right? I mean, a half an hour. It's simple. not only beforehand, but then afterhand. After you have a debriefing, what worked, what didn't work, what would you change? I said, this is not rocket science, guys. This is simple stuff. Why that has ever happened in the future? I mean, in the past, I don't know. But going down the road, my comments to Saul, listen, did you guys sit down afterwards? What worked, what didn't work? What would you change for next year? That's what, and coming into this, I mean, there was no contract. For some reason, T-Cop showed up on the agenda. It's like, I don't know. All right, so they brought it up.
Excuse me, you're in charge.
Time. I didn't make up the agenda.
Okay,
But
well, who
who
makes
put
the
us on
agenda?
the agenda?
I know, that's
We all had to put it into the agenda.
So my question is, Mark and I, again, we talk constantly. If Mark didn't have a contract from us, he should have said to me, hey, Fran, your
Fran,
contract is missing.
okay, I don't want to get into.
No, I know, I'm just
I know,
saying.
because it doesn't do anybody any good. But we were told, and this is what we were told,
Yep.
that there was communication asking for the contract, right? I mean,
There was
I
no
have
communication,
every
she has
email.
emails,
I have
she has
every
emails.
saying what? That I'm looking for the contract?
No, I have every
No
email
emails.
between him and I, and there is no email from him asking me for a contract.
That's interesting.
We have emails with other stuff too, if you wanna see them, she can print them up for you.
I can, for sure.
And you know what? Yes, we're gonna say it because it's going to impact us moving forward. Whoever told me to move it down the road has absolutely no empathy for what I've been through, how much money I give to this town, and what's going on. I wanted to give to Timberland, but after I saw that, I'm like,
Well,
no.
Robin, I mean, I wouldn't even know what you guys have gone through. I couldn't even imagine, right? Believe me. So our condolences, our heartfelt.
I'm not asking for
No, I know that, but I'm just,
Okay,
listen,
I'm asking for an apology because
Well-
the way you handled yourself, okay, without us being present to even back ourselves up, I don't even know if that's against any of the
No,
meeting
well,
laws,
no, it's not, it's
whatever, but I'm a hospital worker, so I don't understand that, but you guys should be ashamed of this, the way you sat there for 20 minutes, not 5 minutes. Okay, people in town that aren't here have watched it, it's gone viral. You should be ashamed of how you bashed us, whether you're the commissioner or not, or you're in charge.
We're all commissioners.
Okay, but you're running the golf commission, am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it continued on for 20 minutes.
I think people I have no involvement in that, right? But other people have been involved with this, brought up issues that they thought, they know have happened in the past. Whether it was communicated to you or not, I don't know.
No, we're clearly telling you it wasn't communicated to us, because for
Well-
7 years, this is the first year we've had an issue.
So-
First year it's brought up on the commission, first year we've ever had an issue. If you told me there was a problem, Mr. Norton,
We've never had an issue,
Yeah.
because nobody's ever said anything about an issue.
This is the first, okay,
No, but I'm saying to you, that's why it bothers me so deeply.
Okay.
I was never notified that there was an issue. If you think I would continue on or think I'm above the law, somebody said I'm above, the T-Cop Foundation thinks they're above the law.
Why would they think that?
Why are we looking at that like that?
We are upstanding citizens that live in this town, and all we do is care about this town and this family.
And better this
that's why
town.
we're here to support them.
And that's fair enough. It's
Yeah.
fair enough.
So it really is. We were really sick to our stomach listening to it all.
All right, hold on, one second, one second. As far as the carts go and the number of, the carts, we also had this conversation. And truthfully, the contract says 144, whatever, and that's all because the number of carts that we had, right? And then so you lease a certain number of carts, if you don't have them, then you have to go rent them. If somebody rents them on their own and brings them in, well, that's a liability issue for the town. That's why it has to go through, everything has to go through, like the
But it
director of.
did.
We didn't have a problem with that, we
We
did
just,
everything
when I
right.
say we rented them, we paid for them.
Okay, all
Because
right.
we obviously can't expect you guys to pay for them if they're being brought
But-
in above and beyond what you have.
And that's why they were saying, listen, it's 144. Well, how many can we handle? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we had 100, well, we have 75 cars before, right? And that's why they limited it to 144 people, 144. We have, now, what do we have, 80-something carts? 85.
85, and we had to leave 5 for
But
volunteers.
for volunteers, correct. And so going forward, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's like, so we have a contract that says 144, but what can we handle? What can we handle in one outing? Like, you wanna do it at one time, rather than break it up, right? I mean,
We want to do it one time.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
know.
wanna
Like,
break-
Rob,
We don't want
let's-
people to drive away.
no, Rob, I get that, but we're trying to figure, what can the course handle?
Okay, well, 172, let me just say, 172 this year, right?
Yeah,
Handled it in 5 to 5.5 hours.
and that's what he said.
With Sol even said it went pretty smoothly.
No, that's
So I
fine,
don't
yeah.
understand.
No,
I know, you're trying to figure it out.
we're trying to, no, you're right. So is it, I mean, what'd you have last year?
We ranged from, when we looked back
Pretty
to
much.
7 years, 164 to 172.
So that you're falling in that range.
Yep.
So we're, so I'm talking, it's like, so where's the cutoff to make it 2? You know what I mean? If you had to go that route, and I don't know, and we're not gonna solve this tonight, we're not. But is it 172? Is it 180? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What can the courts handle? You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the issue is the lack of communication. How many people are coming? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Mark
No,
knew
Mark
how
knows
many
how
people
many-
were coming.
Franny
Mark
communicates
always knows.
daily about that for us.
Okay.
There was no surprise with that whatsoever.
Okay.
I don't care. He
Randy,
knows that
Randy.
we've been running it for 8 years. This isn't a new tournament.
Okay.
And
And
not once did Mark say to me, Fran, you cannot go over this number. Not once.
And now once did Mark support sitting here in this meeting, everything he was saying, we had already gone over with him and he was bashing us.
Right.
So
really
I
don't
think he's
understand.
part of the problem.
okay. So listen, Robert.
I'm just saying for
Okay.
communication.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I will discuss this. You know, I'm not his boss, but I'll be more than happy to sit down with Solomon and kind of go through some of these items. Okay? If you felt offended, and if you did, listen, our sincere apology, because that was never the intent. It was never ever the intent. It was not. But
That was just, we felt blindsided.
well, and I'm
Where's
sorry.
this coming from?
As far as too much
Yeah,
time.
you made our tournament sound like we were losers. I mean, really, and I'm saying that, okay, losers, which we're
No,
not. You
you're
have
not.
you have doctors, you have state troopers, you have firemen, you have high executives. We have a whole slew of people, and we've never done anything wrong to the course. And if there was something that the course did not like, not once were we asked to sit down and talk about it, rectify it, fix it.
And
So, ever.
we would be happy to do that if that was the case.
Right.
You know, we're all
I need
adults
to
here.
talk.
Okay.
One more comment. Too much time? No. That's not even worry about that. I wouldn't even be concerned with something like that. Down the street, don't know. We'd rather have you guys listen.
But
We all-
somebody made
we're
that
all from here.
comment.
Huh?
Somebody
Somebody
on
did
this
make that
committee
comment.
made that comment.
But we don't agree with that.
We don't agree with that comment. Listen,
We don't agree with
things
the
get,
comment.
some things get said, I don't agree with either, but things get said and you don't wanna start getting into this, because
Right.
it doesn't do anybody any good.
No,
Really.
we're not saying that, but for it to be said in general shows us that you don't really care about
That's-
us being
well,
our own citizens and utilizing the golf course the way we do in a rectified manner that we respect with the following of a lot of people in this town.
How can I say? That is not true, all right? Things are said, they shouldn't have been said, it happens, right?
Okay, thank you for acknowledging that.
Okay, our apologies to you,
Thank
if you were offended, wasn't meant to happen, Rob, it wasn't, it was, but truthfully, going down the road, lines of communication have to be open, they
I
have to
agree with
be.
you totally, I think there's issues,
Yeah.
we can make it better.
And even now, one more thing, I promise I'll let you talk, I promise.
I know.
Even now, please, sit down with Saul, sit down with the director of golf, listen, what would you change? What do you want to do differently? I mean, he may have some things that, think about doing this, I mean, I don't know, it just makes more sense to do that, right? If there's something you want done, people would be more than happy to work with you, they will. Listen, we all live here, hold on, Peter, you're gonna be second.
I'm not
Billy
Peter.
has to go now.
No, he's
Bob,
behind you.
Bob,
Bill,
Oh,
behind you.
he's talking
He's
to you.
talking
to you.
Peter,
Get paid.
No, Billy, go ahead.
Bill Pager, 128 West Tiers. So Saul, you're new here, right? To the golf course. You said you put it on the agenda. Didn't you get that, be advised by the golf commission to put that on the agenda?
First off, thank you everyone for being here. Really sorry for last week. Thank you for giving me some of your time tonight, all right? Whatever I put on the agenda, I put it on there because concerns were raised and I need to talk about it with the golf commission.
So the golf commission told you there was concerns.
Right now, I don't want to get into who told me about concerns, but
Well-
it was enough to bring up to the commission.
So it have to be the golf commission, because who else, the outside people don't do that, do they? They can bring it up to you to bring it into a meeting?
Yeah, someone in the golf commission brought up a concern.
So they just said that it wasn't the golf, we didn't do anything about it. So obviously the golf
But
commission
Paige,
did
not
say
everyone in
something.
the golf commission's here today.
Yeah, that is a problem.
But so they brought it up to you, and you had to put it on the agenda, and you said you didn't know anything about it. It wasn't us putting it on the agenda.
Well, he's just one of.
He's the
I just-
chairperson, he's in charge. You're in charge of it, correct?
Yes.
You have to tell Saul what you want on that agenda, correct?
No, that's not true.
It's not, so anyone can come up to him? Anyone?
No, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's on?
Yeah.
Thank you. No. All commissioners have input on the agenda. An agenda comes up, I ask all the commissioners, do you have any comments that you would like to discuss in the upcoming meeting, right? That email goes to everybody. All commissioners will respond one way or another.
And
And their
is this supposed to go
concerns,
through
their
you, Bill?
concern, their concerns,
Is it supposed to go through you?
I forward it to Sal, who puts them on the agenda.
I make
I-
the agenda.
Yeah, I understand you make it, but the talk
Do I
from
vet
the
it?
golf commission.
Do I vet it and say no, yes, no? No, that doesn't do anybody any good. I'm not gonna censor anybody. We're all adults here,
It
right?
came from the golf commission, the agenda.
The agenda did not come,
It didn't?
it doesn't matter who sent that, who put that on there. It didn't come from the commission itself.
Did it come from the golf commission, yes or no?
So, someone in the golf commission raised concerns
Yep. That's all
to
I,
my,
perfect, I understand now.
so that's why it was on the commission.
Okay, can I ask one? Oh.
Rob,
wait,
hold on,
wait
hold
for
on.
Peter, go ahead.
But Peter, you got a comment?
Yeah, you guys can hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
First of all, this is a situation it's just a bad situation, and we apologize for the offense. I do want to say, however, that we learned an awful lot from this, and from now on, moving forward, there's a discussion of coming up with a procedure, with guidelines, with deadlines, checklists, and everything else. There was a check that was dropped off on March 3rd. That we don't know where that check ended up. The golf course wasn't even open on March 3rd, I don't believe. So, they could have. I don't know if somebody, that check was not handed to anybody. And you're saying you didn't. Well,
Do not say it was not, because yes, it was. My wife brought it down to the pro shop and handed it to one of the two girls that were there. So maybe she got the date wrong, but yes, she did do it.
okay, that's not what we heard. So you have to understand as well that we may have been given false information, but that's the information that we received. Okay, so we did not. Wait a minute. So this lends itself to the fact that communicating amongst all parties is critical moving forward. This happened. It's unfortunate. The TCOP is a big tournament. I ran the Manzi tournament as well. I know what it takes to run a big tournament, and you're looking for as much participation for your fundraising efforts as possible. We get it. So we could sit here and bash all night. I would hope that everyone learns from this. We need to do better. Tournaments need to do better as far as making sure that the communication lines are better. We have to make sure that everybody is on the same page from day one. The day you give a date for that tournament to the time you pack your stuff up from the tournament has to be communicated. That's and it's unfortunate what happened, but let's move forward and let's make it the best it can be. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Rick Carrasco, Invitation Drive. Just a question for the record. Mark wasn't available to comment today because it's not us pertaining to him.
Mark had another commitment. He had another commitment.
A lot of steps in his situation. Number two is the golf committee now is cooler police too?
Is it what?
Cooler police, no channels?
No, actually, it's.
If it does
All right,
happen,
before you kill the messenger here, I think I'll go home. You have to go through REMS on this, and not cooler police, but you can't.
well,
They
Cooper's
cards
being
are-
checked on the course, and when I went to another tournament over here, I didn't see anybody from this committee checking those coolers,
Correct.
just our
It's-
team.
no one's gonna check a cooler, but you know.
They did, they did.
They did, really?
Yeah.
They did, and so we were
Members
singled
of the
out.
golf committee,
Go ahead, Ricky, you can keep going, I'm gonna.
members of the golf committee.
Really?
But if it's gonna happen that way, it's gotta go to.
Well, you know what, Rick, you're
That's
right,
right.
and you know what, truthfully,
I got asked,
oh,
I got asked before the cooler went out
really,
by a member of your golf committee. That was wrong.
But.
I wanna say,
going
put it
forward-
this way, I want a checklist of stuff that has to happen for everybody, right? But you're right, you know, everybody has to be treated the same. That's all there is to it, right? I mean, we gotta protect the town, right? We have to protect the town, and we have to protect you guys, and that's why you have the contracts. It's for your purpose, it's for our purpose, and the town's purpose too, right? I mean, God forbid, something should happen to anybody. You know, that they bring,
There's some kind of checks and balances that gotta be written down what to do.
and that,
You know, it just was upsetting that.
even on the website, I think you can't bring alcohol, technically, you can't bring alcoholic beverages, and you know what, listen, I know people that, I don't drink on the course, I'm not gonna tell you, I just don't, but I know people that, a lot of people that do, when they, you know, and there's a lot of things that come up, that, you know, and it's not only booze, it's other stuff that you know, where do you draw the line, right? I mean, and that's why, you know, you're trying to go through, the person who owns the permittee, only because their butt's on the line, right? I mean, if something happens, somebody drinks too much, you know the fingers are gonna start pointing. And
Can I ask you a
that's what
question?
you're trying to avoid. You're
If
right.
somebody drinks too much, one of the doctors were asking me this. How do you know it's not from the cart girl, it's not from the bar,
You-
it's not from them bringing it on, it's not from the cooler on the thing? How, there's no,
Rob, the lawyers will figure that one out, but you're right. But the cart girl, you would assume that the cart girl has enough wherewithal to say, listen, I'm cutting you off. Same with Renzi, I'm cutting you
I
off.
don't know, are we training those cart people?
Listen, I know.
I mean, that would be
I'm
something I
not-
would ask for the
I-
town of Berlin.
I'm not getting, I don't know, I don't know, but the fact that, you know, we're in a litigious society, as you well, everybody knows, and it's just like,
I understand that,
You
Mr.
know-
Warren, but my frustration was, if we see something wrong on the course, we're going around, we usually say something,
and that's
right?
good, and
We
that's
haven't had a problem in 8
Self-policing.
years, 8 years.
Yeah,
Okay, all of a sudden, our tournament is singled out. Because I've been to other tournaments, everybody in town's been to other tournaments, there's not people doing the same thing. They're singling out our tournaments, okay? There's also, you wanna say what you were gonna say?
What's that?
You were gonna say something, weren't you?
We're going to finish it.
So in Pete DeFazio, what he was saying, all I'm saying is, yes, we need to learn from this, but a majority of this was not the TCOP Foundation. It was a lack of communication, a lack of organization, and then we got hammered. So it is extremely frustrating to say, oh, don't worry about it. We do worry about it because what was said was completely unfair, and me as the mother of my son Tyler, you bashed his tournament for no reason.
okay. Again, we apologize, I mean, I on behalf of it, I apologize, I do, right? It wasn't meant to be like that, but going forward, truthfully, the communication, you know, this is,
We would be happy
Can I
to
say-
do
can I say I
whatever
agree
you
with
guys
what
want
you
us to
said.
do, but nobody has ever
Right,
said to
yeah,
us,
that's
We
that's
run our
how it
tournament.
works.
yeah.
I know.
If,
Jim, can I say
if Mark
something?
had once said to me, hey Fran, you guys need to come up and have a meeting with us,
Well-
we would have happily done, we meet once a month with our tournament.
And by the way, my last comment, because I get winded, is gonna be, if you're gonna have Mark run these tournaments, now that Sol's here, maybe things are gonna be different. He never had enough time. He's doing lessons, he's doing this. He's not even in the pro shop to buy stuff from the pro shop, which I was trying to give money to put back into the town or whoever for my raffle. So he's very inaccessible.
Was anybody, how about one of his assistants, were they
Oh,
there?
the assistants told me you can't buy anything unless one of the two pros is down here. The only guy that was down there was answering the phone for tea times. But nobody else could buy anything in the pro shop. That's not really a good business if you ask me.
As the only member of, or as the only town employee of the golf commission, I think there's a lot for my side to learn from this experience. And I'll surely, like, you know, we are gonna learn from this. And first is communication, because with communication, I think a lot of this would have been figured out, especially with Fran, you know, because once we started talking, like, everything kind of figured itself out. So
Exactly.
I think that's the first thing we have to learn is our communication with outings,
I know, but you
leading
guys,
up to the
okay,
day.
I'm Jim Mazzarella, 362 Lower Lane. You guys keep on bringing up this communication thing, right? I don't know where it came from, right? I mean, you guys keep on bringing lack of communication. They've been doing this for 7 years.
No, on our end.
No, not
Mine, on our end.
It's not lack of communication from us.
No, I said
It's
on.
you guys.
Jimmy,
I said
Totally
on our
you
end.
guys.
you got it, you got it.
They've done everything that they
I
can do.
just said on
to
our
run
end,
the
sir.
tournament
Jimmy,
the way they
we got
have.
it, we got it.
We dropped the ball, like, is that a little?
For 7 years then.
That's fine, then we
Because
dropped
we've
the ball
never,
7 years.
we've never heard a thing for 7 years. And then all of a sudden, this thing happens last month.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I mean, so but our thought is, it's always, when we sat down after we found out about things, right? And we started jotting things down, we went through the whole thing. I mean, we know every single person that said everything that was said. And I'm not gonna mention anybody, people, I don't wanna point out, but people said some things that shouldn't have been said. They're not horrible things, but like Robin said, I mean, this is for their family. They lost their son. And we're all town people, born and raised here. So you know what? Do we deserve a little bit of extra rights? Damn, we do. Most of you people on this commission probably aren't even from this town. From what I hear, this thing is ran like a country club, not a public golf course. So, well,
You're entitled to, Jimmy, you're entitled to your opinion on
Yeah.
that, but
I know,
let's stick
but
with,
anyway.
listen, let's stick with, we have to
Okay.
treat everybody the same. We're all taxpayers here. Robin, believe me, you know,
But
like
our
I said, I
question- our
would,
question is just why? Why did it even happen? If we were sent emails and we were notified of things that happened in the past and we had meetings and we disregarded it, that's one thing. But for us to never get one thing, not even a thing ever in 7 years, for somebody to bring up something that we don't like the way this is going with the Teacop Foundation, how could that even be brought up if we, in our knowledge, in 7 years never did anything wrong?
they're blindsided.
Right, we
But
were.
that's blindsided. So how can somebody even say, well, we have to bring something up into the committee to go over to the Teacop Foundation? Well, what?
Like, Jimmy,
And I got one other question I want to know. Does Mark Byram come to, because I watched some of the things, he comes to almost all the commission meetings, right? Almost all.
unless he's got something else going on.
But
Unless
he comes to almost all of them. And I like to just know
Everybody,
why he's
everybody's got
not.
prior commitment, I'm sorry?
I just like to know why he's not.
He had a prior commitment, he already knew that he was, just like Peter had a prior commitment, he couldn't make it, right? So he's zooming in.
Because I
Mark
think,
is-
guys,
Jimmy.
I'm not gonna get
Fine,
on
Jimmy,
this, but you
Jimmy.
know what?
Let me,
He's your problem.
all right, we're not gonna point fingers at anybody
That's
right
all I
now.
got to say.
Okay, listen. Robin, going forward, listen, and Franny, going forward, if you got an issue, you can talk to him. Franny, you know where I live. You know, I mean, I'll always answer the phone. I got, you know what?
I have no problem dealing with Saul.
Then
I have
that's,
no problem dealing with Mark. I just never knew that
There was a- yeah.
all this other stuff existed. And if,
Fair
if we had known that there was any issues whatsoever, we would have been happy to sit down with whomever to talk about them. And we will do that.
I think that's where we dropped the ball.
and that's,
right?
yeah.
So I have to say, I know we're giving a lot of feedback because we're very emotional, but you did a good job this year.
Yeah.
You know what?
So,
You did
From the
so.
little dealing we had with you, you did a great job. And if we can improve upon that in the future, we would be happy to do that.
Like, one of the things I learned from your tournament this past couple weeks, from the couple weeks ago is, because I made a point to be there. I'm not normally there on outings. So I just wanted to make sure to be there and experience your outing myself. What I've learned is we can handle your outing.
Thank you.
thank you, yeah.
So, did you turn away people?
We have a waiting list, yeah.
You do, all
We
right,
probably
so,
could do two,
this-
but
this-
we're not.
how many are on the waiting list?
There's 25 foursomes, but me and my husband do not want to do two.
All right, but that's not the point.
What's the point?
We're trying to figure out how many we can handle. How many, and that's,
Do you,
this is a conversation, Tom and
Somebody
I
at
just
our
had this
tournament, let me
conversation.
just give you.
We're not gonna solve, Rob, we're gonna solve this.
No, but let me just give you the feedback of somebody at our tournament. They said the only people that should be mad at this tournament are the people golfing if they're 3 deep to tee off. But we come here and we wait 3 deep and it's not that long because we want to be here.
You're moving them along. 5.5 hours.
And they're
It's five,
there
it was 5.5 hours?
yeah.
It was 5.5.
That's not, you
That's
know,
not bad for
that's not,
172.
no, it's not, it's a sold out. So we're trying to, I mean, him and I, and I'm not gonna lie, we had this conversation, we're trying to figure out how many we can fit in one outing, right, and make it work. You know, 6 hours, people are gonna be so good, and we're not gonna solve it.
Is there a restriction in time?
No, I don't think so.
For you guys?
No.
So that was something else that, I don't know if it was brought up in here, but it was brought up, I can't even remember who brought it up. What does it matter how long our tournament takes if there's no end time? I mean, as long as Rebsy's all right with us having dinner.
Well, the whole day, because it's all, you know, you brought, it's a whole month, it's all about the money, let's just.
I know it is, right, so
let's
let's
just-
I know you guys wanna get some golfers on
Yeah,
after
yeah,
this.
if I, you know, if you could do some, do both or whatever.
Right.
We're just gonna try to figure out.
There's leagues on Fridays, I believe. There are a couple leagues.
Obviously, I'm at night, right?
So you have leagues on Friday
Yeah,
night?
but when you bring 172, that's, the course is yours. We're not doing anything out of it.
Until a certain time, yeah, but you don't have it from dawn to dusk, you know
No,
what I
I
mean?
realize that, but like, say we try to push people along and get it done. So 5.5 hours, you know, five and 3/4 for 172 is not bad.
No.
So I was just wondering if there actually is a restriction.
No, it's everybody else in the back end, you have to, when Peter says, you have the leagues that are going on, and if something else is going on that night, but I don't think they would have that, like,
Friday night,
there's
there's
couples things or anything going on that
There are
night.
some outings that leagues would follow. That's when we, you know, we'd be more concerned about pace of play.
Yeah.
But that Friday was yours.
Right.
Well, when you do a tournament as a commission, I would think you make more money off the tournament, right?
Say it one more time.
You make more money off a tournament than you would off the league for that night, right?
The leagues are prepaid, they're all prepaid for the year round, that's, so, you know. So it's cash in hand, right, I mean, no offense, and then with the league, I mean, we're gonna come down, we'll sit down and try to figure out what's the right number, how many, you know, so maybe
Well,
we
I
can have a
think
couple.
we found out the right number. I think Franny runs this unbelievably as my president, and I think 172 is our top.
That's your max?
That we feel we can handle.
Max.
No, we don't wanna go higher than that.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, and you know, we had this conversation, it's like, well, you know, is it 185? I mean, who knows, I don't know, but that's what we're,
I have one more question though.
Yeah.
Is it a part of part of your, how you run the golf course that the commissioners need to be there when there's a golf outing?
no,
No, right?
no.
They don't need to be right. So who are the volunteers that are supposed to be there using those 5 carts? Ramsey, Mark, Sol.
Well, they
right?
have anybody you have runners, right? You have runners?
Yep.
Right, you need runners, right? So, listen, something's always gonna happen, and it's inevitable.
And then back
Right.
up if a cart breaks
Yeah,
down. right?
yeah, exactly.
Like when I went over how many carts we could provide with Fran, we told her 80. We could give you 80 because I need 5
In case there's a problem.
in case we need to go on the course for
Mhm.
emergencies or we have ranger, whatever. You know, we need
Breakdown,
5.
I mean, anything.
So
Yeah,
That's-
so there doesn't need to be any commissioners there.
Not unless they're playing.
did you have a commissioner?
Let's- somebody there.
Why is there commissioners? I've heard in the past that there's been commissioners driving around actually taking a picture
Last year.
last year.
I can't answer that.
Yeah, we're just
Have to
wondering.
ask
I mean, no offense, Jimmy, you ain't that important, don't worry.
It's just kind of weird that somebody was driving
And
around.
looking in the cooler, same commissioner.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but the PR person would need to make sure that the people you're taking pictures of are okay with that. We have our own photographers. Because
Yeah.
that would be a legality if you took their picture and they didn't want it taken.
Sure.
You could actually get sued for that. Same thing in my hospital. But, you know, I think that we were unfairly targeted for all of this stuff. There's nobody else, when we talk to the other tournaments, that there's a commissioner out riding around on a golf cart. And if the commissioner is not from Berlin or not insured by the town, are they okay to be on that golf cart?
If they're, well, I don't wanna get
Unless
into
they
that.
rent it.
So I'm just saying, because there was other issues, you know, about other people doing carts and this and that. It just feels like we were singled out, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm
No,
not
that
gonna
was-
get into a contest
Yeah.
here. And I thank you for your apology. There's obviously a lot of opportunities for improvement. And I will not take this out of Berlin. I would take it to somewhere else in Berlin if I needed to before this place, if that's where you guys want it. But I feel like you should be passionate about us being there. We're good people.
We do
Take
really
care of
good
the
things
course.
with the money
Yep.
in this town. We support a lot of people in this town. Berlin High School scholarships, we've supported some of the athletic fields. We helped with basketball, the tennis courts.
Rec.
Yeah,
Houses that are burnt down, people
Right.
that have died of cancer and their kids have nobody.
we've
You've given
donated
out
money
over
to
144,000.
food bank, you name it. I mean, and everything we try to get back into this community. Right now, we're working with the town trying to put up a digital sign that is gonna alert the community of events that are going on. I mean, we're doing good stuff.
Yep.
And
Listen,
to
Right.
hear this kind of stuff come back was just it really put us over the edge.
You were
I was
blindsided,
honest.
listen, you were, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of, there's issues that we will take care of. We will take care of, let's just leave it at that. Fair, but going forward, you know, I can't say enough, let's have sit downs. Have two sit downs, man, a heck of a time.
That's
You know
fine.
what?
You know,
Have
we
another-
sit down
listen.
with Ramsey every year.
Yeah.
Robin, myself, and Barney, one of our other
Every year, yeah.
members.
Have another one, I mean, have a sit down with Sal, what worked, what didn't work, what did.
We've never been Ramsey has always asked to sit down with us. Mark has never asked to sit down with me.
You've had a weakness.
So, we would be happy to sit down with you.
I have one more question. Who's in charge of the tournaments right now? Who? Oh, Mark is in charge of them?
So why aren't you in charge of them?
It's in his contract.
Maybe that contract needs to be looked at. And
So
I
he's
know
in
we're
charge.
not gonna solve
All right,
it.
we're not gonna go, listen.
I know you're not gonna solve it, but
Like I said, I think I learned more about your outing than learned more good about your outing than the opposite. You know, everyone that day I was happy to work with. You know, from Rich using our utility card to your volunteers. I even looked at the course after. You know, it was fine. The grounds crew said it's good. Give us a chance to learn about, you know, what our faults are. Give us a chance to get better. I promise you we will. Take it on me. You know, I shouldn't have put Teacup on the agenda. I should just put out.
no, we don't have a problem with that, Sol. You're new. I mean, we're not gonna bash you.
Well,
You're brand new.
I just want to make sure that y'all not taking down on one person because we're a team. We do this all together. And
And that's a good point. I
if
just
one
think maybe
person
you
drops
need to
the
work on
ball,
the
we
team.
all drop the ball.
Yeah, we all drop the ball.
So,
It's
but
not
we're
wrong.
all looking to be better, all right? And, you know, I see Billy every day. He works hard for me every day. So don't feel like he has that. I think, you know, any different to Billy, because Billy's a big part of my team.
I think the golf commission, the entire golf, Timberland needs to understand what your grounds.
There was some things
From
that
the
was
summer
said.
help to Billy.
Yeah,
Billy,
I don't agree with some of the things that was said in that meeting. I'll say that forever. I do not agree with some of the things that was said in that meeting. But you have to understand, it's an open forum, so folks are just saying what they're thinking and feeling, maybe without thinking too much, right? So again, sorry that some of the things like, you know, was said that you all didn't agree with, and I think, you know, that's another learning experience for us, so.
thank you.
Thank you.
I think the citizens are done.
I think we will leave now.
Wait, whoa, we're doing it again next month. The third Thursday of every month, we're here or?
I will not be here unless I'm on the commission.
Do you really want us back?
Listen, there's a lot going on at the course. I mean, there's a lot of changes going on, you know, and it's
This
I
is
mean,
part
we
of
need input, you know what? We need input.
I'm gonna give you one piece of input that I hear around town, and that you can take this for what you want. That taxpayers cannot get on the course because there's so many leagues for tee times. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I've heard multitude of people say that. So you, yeah, everybody said that, so I don't know what the commission wants to do about that, but maybe it should be looked at.
Fair enough.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Great, keep it good, man. Yeah, tell us. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
we're going.
Rich. Yeah. I know. Galantro, so low.
Oh, that's fresh on my mind. Are we meeting in July and August?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes. Okay, that takes care of points of citizens from Wetlands.
Hey, Jim, I'm gonna have to go.
All right,
But can I just say, I want to just say that I'm a little disturbed that somebody from the commission was checking coolers. I mean, if that's true, that's absolutely wrong. And that's none of our business to do any of that. We're not involved in that in any way, shape, or form.
You're right.
And that's despicable.
Well, let's make sure it's true,
Yeah,
because it might
make
not
sure
be
there's no-
true, because we already have heard that things are being said that aren't true.
Right,
Correct.
I'm not sure if they know all the people that are on the commission.
So
maybe it was a starter, I don't know.
Maybe that's, maybe
You know, I can ask,
in your follow-up conversation
find out who,
with Robin, that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
I was going to ask who, but I didn't feel that that was appropriate, and it shouldn't have been.
Right,
It
and
doesn't
that's
do
what I
anything
mean,
good,
if Saul follows up privately with
Yeah.
Robin.
Where do we,
And
where
I'm
do
trying
we
to figure-
stand with that? If it's not coolers, you're checking for
You're not gonna
carts
go-
or.
you're not gonna
where
go
are
some-
you-
But
where are you
we
guys
don't-
in that?
that's not our role.
that's not our role.
No, and why would anybody check for somebody with a cooler to find out what they got in their cooler?
That's
Yeah.
What do you
not
care
our
whether
role.
it's a soda, Gatorade, or whatever?
That's
I mean,
not
I don't get it. I mean, it's,
I don't understand that. I don't
That's not
understand that
our
all at all.
And I think you do have to clarify with Renzi, because it does say on our website that
That-
no outside
Yeah.
alcohol can be brought in, so
I mean-
that's a clarification.
Ramsey told me he had a problem with them early in the year.
Well, then,
So if Ramsey is.
well, this is some of the things that, you know what?
that's why I think a small group of
Yeah.
you
Yep.
on a real small level should talk face to face. You
Right.
have all the right players in the room, because you didn't have them all here tonight.
Can I, and I'll say this, and for the record, I talked to Saul about a lot of this stuff earlier this afternoon. We had this conversation, and, as far as the right number, what, you know, and I honestly, truly believe it comes down to a communication issue. And people not communicating out as of where there are issues, you know, what, you know, what didn't they like, or what had to be changed or whatever. I firmly believe that, and I think at the end of the tournament, you should have had a debriefing, just like anything else. What worked and what didn't work, and it's just like, going forward, here it is, right? So,
Well, maybe with better communication with this outing, we wouldn't have had it all.
you wouldn't even have had this, you wouldn't have the problems, so be it.
But the other thing I wanna say too, is like, when she made the statement saying that she brought the check into the golf course to give to a girl
She said
in March,
two girls.
and there's nobody there in March.
Yeah, but you know what, I think maybe we get the date wrong, because Jimmy said.
I understand
No,
that, Jim, I understand
We were
that,
setting
but
up the
you
shop.
said it,
Yeah.
you
We
said,
setting up the shop.
I was in the shop, we were setting up the shop.
Setting up the shop.
We were setting up the shop, so there was nobody there in March, so that's a line right
But when
there.
did whatever.
I was in the office by March, right?
Yeah,
Right,
there's, whatever, I mean, I'm not doubting, you know, I'm sure Franny and Jimmy were in there, I'm sure they got the dates mixed up, whatever. It doesn't do anybody any good to rehash all this, we're gonna go forward, we learned from this thing, and we're gonna go forward, fair enough, okay?
And you guys are gonna follow up.
Yes,
I don't-
yes.
Just want
And
to
it-
say one thing, I think one of the major discussions was about the carts, the number of carts, the number of players.
Correct.
Because we didn't know if we had enough carts to service.
We didn't have enough,
And renting them should have been through Mark or Saul to protect our liability, or the town's liability.
That's correct.
That was the major
That's correct,
point.
correct, and that got worked out too, that did get worked out,
Good.
okay. All right,
Like you do.
by Peter, all right. Peter, you still there, wait, approval of old minutes before you sign off.
Yep.
Okay. Any other comments on approval of the minutes from last month?
I make a motion that we accept.
Second, okay. Sebby said, made a motion, seconded by Gail Mew. Peter, you signing off? Peter signing off at 6:50.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. All right. New business.
Old business.
I'm sorry, all in favor? Aye, good, unanimous. All right, new business, golf cart, chipping up, update.
Had my first training session with Easy Go 2 days ago.
Okay,
So we're in the process of mapping out our course for normal play barriers and handicap barriers.
are you working with Jerry on that one to find out what
Yes.
works? Okay, good.
They're
Excellent.
gonna make us a map first and then Jerry and I will look at it.
Nice, okay,
So we're basically trying to control, where everything goes around the greens. That's our priority right now.
Got it.
But there's a lot of nice technology we could use.
So how long is that gonna take? I mean, what's the timetable you're looking at?
Probably a couple weeks. We get our map back, we'll review it, and another week or so from there to really finalize it.
Good.
So with that technology, we can figure out pace of play, we can figure out where the cards go, like for every foot, where it is. We can designate carts to be handicaps versus, because,
Oh, so you're gonna have a specific number, you're gonna have specific cars for handicap cars and not, yeah. That's interesting, okay.
I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we designate 6 of them. If you need more,
Even more than that, man, I think, there's a lot of,
So, but how do you show me that you need one?
that you're handicapped?
Yeah.
That's,
So I thought you had to have a medical, a note from the doctor.
Yeah, if they have the handicap stick.
Why don't you just, use the, if they have one for their car,
yeah, but how do you,
just show you that.
how do you know? How do you know they have one for their car?
If they don't have one, we just use my judgment, or?
No, I wouldn't get into that one.
I know
Some
that
people have
somebody that had
temporary
gotten one a
one.
couple of years ago had to get a note.
We addressed it, we did address this, so there has to be, we did address this. So if you look at some of the notes that Jonathan had, and we did a whole policy on this thing. Because I know we covered this,
Yeah.
we did cover
Yes.
this. I'd have to look back, but you have to look back, we did clarify exactly how this would have been. You remember that?
Yeah.
So, it did happen, I mean, there's a lot of things that we covered, and that's, but your point's well taken, and you'll give us 2 or 3 weeks to figure it out, to find out what it was.
This will be all business for them.
That's right, that would be old business. Okay, golf course update.
So if y'all got Jerry's report, there's some projects he's doing now with some timelines on it. And then we had some hiccups with some of our irrigation technology that he also put in there. So they've fallen back a little bit because of our some of the things that we didn't have in plans, like our PCL breaking and some of our irrigation going down. So they're trying to catch up with some of the things around the golf course and around the clubhouse, to beautify the place a little bit. Starts with some flowers by the golf shop. The back of the clubhouse needs a little trimming. The entranceway needs a little trimming. So there's a lot of comments that I get on a daily basis that I pass over to Jerry, and we just try to find some time for him and the staff to do it. So I know Mr. Nora had some questions as far as like how.
Yeah, how's it going with now that we're using the divot mix, how's that going?
Yeah.
And what is Jerry thinking about this, and what are they thinking about all this stuff?
So the Mets Club, they're donating the mixed buckets for each par 3, and then the divot mix bottle holder by the number of 1 to 10.
Yeah, all right, so you go with the holder, because holder has a box out there.
We'll fill up the bottles and put it in the holder, so no one has to fill their bottles up. But the thing is, like, I don't think it's still used as much. Like when I go around the golf course, our par 3s, they're all pretty bare. Like no one's using our divot mix.
Is this going to be a learning process, an education process? For people?
Probably a little bit of both. I'm asking my starters to tee them off and tell them, hey, do this, do that, be aware of this and that, just to remind everyone, that it is the patrons' duty to, also their duty to refill their divots and fix their marks on the greens. These are things that
maybe an Instagram type, and I'm not into social media. I'm not, but
even
maybe something like that.
My last 2 newsletters, the first
a little video here's
says, do your divots and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll make a video.
I ended up buying a bottle, right? And Mark ended up getting some more bottles.
Mark's supposed to get some water.
But I actually bought one. I go walking bottle. I got one, and would you fix your own with a walking bottle?
Yeah, if I have it.
You got a bottle.
A container to hold it
With a
up.
bottle, he marks them and gets some of the bottles to sell. I mean, they're cheap, but what the heck? I mean, it's like, I think it's great.
Well,
So it's,
I recently was reading, and I was just surprised, because I didn't know this. My husband always taught me when I was playing golf, put your divot down, put your divot down. I was recently reading that they said that you don't put the divot down, you're supposed to put the sand.
yeah.
So, I mean, I thought I was doing such a good thing.
Yeah.
And I wondered if other people think that that's the right thing.
Interesting, I would have took the different back too, you know.
I was just saying, it depends on what kind of grass it is.
Yeah, well, how deep it is, how fresh it is, and things like that, you know.
I've been
but-
told it depends on the kind of grass. Some grass you are, and some grass you're not. I don't have to which is which.
Well,
Jerry,
at Timberland, we're asking everyone to refill.
refill,
Yeah.
fill it with the sand.
Alright.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, I usually put the divot back.
Yeah, if you don't have.
If
the
you don't
sand.
have a mix with it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the least you can do.
Correct.
And I wish I took more divots.
Does a mix have grass in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
So it's, I mean, it's good that we have new mix. It's good that we're putting in social media, all that stuff. But the next step is really for the sorry to re-engage that message before they tee off, and maybe it takes all of us. Like, you know, if you all are playing, you know, you maybe
I get all the people say, you know, listen,
you don't have to make it a bad thing. It's like, oh, you know.
hey, there's a bottle over there, you know. It's like,
Or even just on the greens. To me, if I hit a green, it's such a rewarding thing that I love fixing my green the ball marks on the green.
well, in all honesty, right now, it's been tough to find a ball mark, your own ball mark. But I clean, you know, whenever I do one of mine, I do mine to like 3 others, 4 others, whatever.
The one thing I saw when I go around for my daily trips around the courses, our par 3 tee boxes
Oh, they're horrendous.
are not getting refilled.
They're horrendous.
So, and that's obviously crew staff and players. So we'll see how it goes. We'll pass the message on.
Yep. In all honesty, some sort of communication to people. I think that's education. It's really an education process. So.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've been hearing the golf course was good. Yeah, I think the greens need to get a little quicker. I played today, so
Yeah.
Jerry said he was gonna be doing something next week. He used a term, I can't remember what it was. I would say cross-cut.
We vertical cut this week. So-
And then do some kind of sand thing, whatever, and they're gonna get faster. he said.
So our greens, the grass has been laying down, so that creates a lot of grain, but also thatch. So now when we verticut, they all stand up. So when you cut them, you can get them lower and a little more smooth. So we'll see how the next week or two goes. I know you've been talking about rolling.
I don't know, but I think
So-
people are coming to me and
Yeah.
telling me, you know.
I spoke to my friend at Ellington, the superintendent there, and he rolls about 1-to-1 ratio in a week. So if he rolls 6 days, if he cuts the green 6 days, he'll roll 6 days. So
You don't have the stat.
I was gonna say that, but I don't like to use that excuse anymore. We have to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure Jerry is on the same page.
Is it because we have too much play?
I mean,
I would love to have them Ellington Ridge.
Yeah, but we can't have them as firm and fast as Ellington Ridge because we have twice to play every day, right? By our afternoons, you know, at Timberland, there's been so many footprints on our greens by the end of the day that it kind of needs to be a little higher for it to survive.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one of the things that Jerry is scared of is losing greens.
Burning them out.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So we haven't even hit 90 degrees yet.
No.
So it's going to be a slow process of how much we can do, how much more we can do for the greens.
I mean, the greens look really good.
They look great. No, they look really
fine.
good.
They're just
But
slow.
they're just-
Well, yeah,
That's
even when
all.
you putt them, they're smooth, but they are like the grain
Velcro.
in the grass catches quick, right?
It's like Velcro. Man.
Yeah, so I think, you know, the start of it was the verticutting this week. Next week, you know, we're gonna cut a little more and see where it goes and go from there.
Bunkers. There's 2 courses that are doing the, and And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves on this one, but the capillary, nobody's doing it, and
It's expensive.
it's crazy. And then the other thing is the fabric. What they're doing, they're putting sod in there.
Yeah, correct.
So there's two Hartford golf clubs. They've been doing this, and Weathersfield's doing this, and they did it last year, and they said it's 42 cents a square foot.
Right.
So that's cheap if you think about it.
We were made aware of this new practice about a month or two ago.
Yeah, I said something, and I think people looked at me like I was crazy, but yeah.
So, but literally, they put sod under the sand.
Oh, really?
And then he put sand on top of that, and the sod. I said, well, does the sod go upside down? They said, no, you just throw the sod on there.
Yeah.
And then if something happens, there's obviously drainage and everything else underneath, so it all goes away. And they're like, we can have a monsoon, and it just drains perfectly. And I said, this is but this is where it's going. I said, I never even thought of that. And if they have to dig something up, well, they just put a new piece of sod under there. And it's got to be, that process has got to be saving a lot of time and money. The big issue that they're all trying to figure it out is on the edges, the grass starting to come through. So and they're using an edger to do the edging. You know what I mean? Like you do on your sidewalk or whatever. But the grass still comes through. But I mean, they're all figuring this thing out. But listen, at 42 cents a square foot, that's cheap.
Yeah.
You know, and they did all their bunkers for $30,000. I mean, we were talking $13,000 a hole. You know, so they did all their bunkers on their course. So that's believe me, that's huge.
We know of a couple courses that we're going to visit them in fall, see how they.
Weathersfield right now, Hartford.
Right, JB, John Barreto, he mentioned that to me, but we're just waiting to see how they do after a year.
Well, Hartford did it 2 years ago, and Weathersfield did it like last year, the year before. It's already been established.
Right.
So don't wait. I'm just okay.
Would you take all that insulation out if you were?
Yeah, you'd have to literally rip off.
Take that sand, pull it up, and then.
Because they got all those spikes.
Yeah.
And that happened the other day. So you know, Johnny, we're playing and he's on 9 and he hits a spike and pulls it up. He's like, this is
Yeah.
I mean, someone's gonna get hurt.
No, I mean we've been saying that.
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
Here, Gary's been telling me that. So.
I mean, it's not like it's anything new, but we know about it. All right. I'm sorry, go ahead. Course up. What else you got in the update? I'm sorry.
I think I went over my update to the golf course.
Okay.
I like the idea that they saw in Jerry's notes that he's treating the ponds.
Yeah.
And that's like 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, divots on course. What is that, the sand?
That, and also, you know, and I think we went over 2 at a time, but yeah, that's that makes them try to, you know, give the right message out to our patrons.
Good. Nancy's questions.
Well, my first, I have 3, or one is a kind of a comment. What proof does a starter have that somebody signed in?
Your iPad?
But what if somebody is just going to play golf, so they're on the iPad, and they just go over and say, oh, I need a key?
Well,
I mean, could that happen?
the only folks who can go to the starter without a receipt for a card are the ones going through the express line.
Right. It's impossible.
Right.
If they don't have a receipt for a card, they'll have to go back to the golf shop.
I can get a card without a receipt.
Yeah, you keep the
I don't have I went over, I signed in and everything, and said that I was taking a part. And I went over to the starter and I said, oh, I need a key. And he said, oh, where's your receipt? I said, well, I don't have one, I signed in.
Did you say you went through the express line or something?
Yeah, I said I signed in, and that was it.
Oh.
So I wondered, can anybody do that? I mean,
That's
I was-
interesting, obviously.
Well, that was always like the flaw of the express line, right? I'm not giving receipts to show to the starter.
Just to figure some sort of process like that.
What about if you did, since we're signing in on paper, there's stuff where like if you signed and you know how there's like a duplicate and then like, so I sign my name and I rip off the top
Sure.
and and I give it to the starter.
Starter, yeah.
And then my name's there, so you know to charge me, but he also knows because of the kind of paper that it is, I'm making this up.
Right,
I
right.
gotta believe something like that exists.
We're looking to, it doesn't even have to be paid, it could be whatever, like,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's the same signature, you know, it's my signature.
Or you have the sign-in sheet in the starter shack,
I was gonna say that too,
you know, where he sees you sign in.
sign in.
Yeah, but he might be busy doing stuff, that's all I think.
Well,
I mean, he's
that's-
trying to
that's
get people
true.
out on time and
Yeah,
check
that's true too.
and take
Well, he's gonna
receipts.
be there to give me a key,
Yeah, that's true.
you know.
So
Well, I
I'll
just
ask my
thought-
starters to
Maybe
see,
they have some thoughts.
yeah, I always like to ask them, you know,
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
involves them, so
And
I'll
I
ask
just-
them.
You know, it's only gonna hurt the courts if people,
Yeah,
don't
of course,
pay.
of course.
Yeah, and there will be.
my other question is, since when you sign in, you don't know how many punches that you have, because you don't get a receipt. So, you're having money in your account, when you do run out of cards, they're just gonna take it from your account. But are they gonna take one card at a time, or are they gonna take the 135 or the 10, so you get the free one?
If your account is low on funds or
But if
punch cards,
if my account has enough funds to be able to pay the 135, so that you get that free one, you get 10, but you
Yeah.
only pay for 9?
what I was planning on doing was to let you know that you ran out, and then if you wanna
We will
re-up,
tell
great.
you what we wanted to
Yeah.
do. Okay,
I don't like to just
well, no, but
bring
we-
stuff up on account
Right.
without y'all knowing.
so we can tell them that that's how we prefer to have it done, so that we get the 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only one who rings it up,
Oh,
so
okay,
it's really just me communicating to the customer
all right,
when they're running low or out.
okay. And I think it's
Yeah,
a great idea.
it's all new, right?
But I think it's a great
You
idea.
gotta work through
having-
the,
It's all
yeah,
new.
all the kinks, right?
Yeah, there's a cake.
There's a lot of
every
kinks
day,
there.
so-
I think it's great having the
You
money
having
down the
success
account,
with it?
not having
You like that,
to
huh?
run and walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the system, I'm just, you know, thinking of all the different things that, you know.
I'm hoping next year I can just have like a little iPad there where you can just answer questions and then it just generates my computer.
You'll get
And
there.
said, we'll get there.
Yeah.
The thought is great, right? The thought's great, the
It's
execution's
a great
great.
idea, and it's
Yeah.
working. And that's all I have.
All right, P&L. Listen, how can I say this? Are we sure our numbers are right? That's all, the reason I'm saying that too is, and are we accounting for the rounds this correctly, the same way we've been doing all along? Our rounds are down 2,500. We're down 25, revenue's up, only because we increased prices, we get that. But rounds are down, right? Rounds are down, and the greens fees, are up significantly, like $30 some odd thousand, right? And if you think about it, almost $40,000 are up. So I'm not doubting that what's being presented here. It just looks kind of odd. It just appears that something's off. I mean, my first blush looking at this stuff, and just, you know, my eye looking at this is like, I'm down 2,500 rounds, yet revenue's up $40,000. I know we increase fees and whatever, and that's fine, but we're just talking greens fees. We're not talking passes or cards or anything like that. We're talking greens fees. And it just seems like a lot, right? And it's significant. And what I'm hearing from people, and then my complaint that I'm hearing from people is like, we're expensive. And I'm not dying, you know, I said, I'm not doubting it. We are expensive. But, you know, everything went up. We all know everything went up. So, you know, looking forward, I mean, there are courses that help align on that. And so looking forward, then we, you know, maybe we should think about tightening the belt and holding the line next year and just, you know, cover our costs. We're not gonna have to make we're gonna show a profit no matter what. It doesn't matter because of the way the numbers always work. We're always gonna show that profit because the rates don't come into effect and half the year's already gone, right? I mean, just think about how you're doing this thing. It's like a shell game. Let's just call it what.
So you're saying more like,
I'm saying for next year, maybe we should just hold the line on and we had a whatever, $40,000 profit built in, or 25. you know what, and now the people are feeling that punch, that pinch right now, and they are. I'm getting complaints from people about the
But you
price.
still can't get out, so the demand.
No,
is
you
still
can't
there.
get out, you can't get, I mean, I don't think it's as, and this is listen, our rounds are down 2,500. 2,500 rounds are a lot of rounds, and I can understand we opened up later than last year,
Correct.
but you have to look month by month, and we're still down, right, we're down. We were down 700 rounds last month, right, it was, you know, and so you can understand because we opened late, well, guess what, it's not that. Now, I've talked to Stanley, and Stanley's like, they're off the wall, right? And I asked Mark, I talked to Mark, I said, Mark, how's Hunter doing? And how's Rockledge doing? And how the other courses doing? And, you know, and some of them they're down. But Stanley, we're not gonna compete with Stanley, so let's just call it what it is, right? They have the top top tracer golf, that whole facility they got, and what they're gonna do over there. And they have, you know, 3 9s, and 3 9s is not a third more, it's really not, it's even more than that. But you gotta look at this thing, it's like, all right, so, you know, is that our competition? It's, we're gonna have our own niche, but we're down rounds, and the question is why? You know, is it price? I don't know, I don't know, so it's something that we're gonna have to be cognizant of, we'll have to be cognizant of that thing, and going forward.
It was just like they were saying earlier about people who can't get tea times, okay? You can get a tea time, if you sleep, you're not gonna get a tea time.
Well, no, they're talking,
But you know, you can, like I said, you can get a tea time, but what time do you want? You may not get the time you want.
they're talking about the leagues and after work, and then, you know,
But the leagues after, that's what keeps the golf course playing, that's guaranteed money.
it's guaranteed money, I
That's
get it.
guaranteed
And
money.
I guess some things, it's 15 to 20% of the revenue.
That's a lot,
Exactly.
that's a
That's a lot
lot,
of money.
it is, it's a
Because,
lot.
you know, because like I said, you can't guarantee people gonna come and play. You know, that's money you get up front.
No, I
That is
understand.
times that they want.
Yeah.
Did they start the $25 special in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's
12
yeah.
12 to 3?
Adults are $30, seniors are 25.
Excellent. That's
Too
the
bad
part
they're
that-
not here, but I would like to know whether or not, you know, is it, they can't get out during the week, or is it the weekend?
I think they said during the week because of the leagues.
Because weekend, if you look at the schedule of our men's club and women's club, all right, they're booked every week. Every week they're booked.
On Saturdays, on Sundays.
Saturday and Sunday. Some Saturday and Sunday, but at least one tournament
In the morning,
in the morning.
in the afternoon,
And that's something I think we need to do a better job next year when it comes to scheduling of the men's club and women's club, that we look at the entire picture and say, okay, are we going 5 weeks in a row with tournaments out there?
Yeah, the number of tournaments doesn't really matter, especially if it's, you know, I've got all prime times for the
Right.
prime months, and then, you know, October, January, October, November, you
the
know.
answer is yes, because every weekend there's either a men's club tournament or a women's or both.
But in the same token, there's money coming through the door, and it's guaranteed money,
I
right?
understand, it's like,
So,
you're right.
so you start, I mean,
I'm not arguing with you,
Oh, no,
I'm just
I know.
saying that we gotta look at the big picture.
Yeah.
But we gotta hit the revenue,
Yeah.
the expenses with the
I
revenue.
get it.
And
They
that's where
mostly in
we're,
the morning?
Yeah.
yeah, they're all in the morning.
Oh,
So you limit it to a point, you keep you know, a certain number of tee times open for the starter, you know what I mean? I mean, the starter's time, they used to have that, I know they used to have that,
yeah,
right?
they used to have.
Well, it
So-
goes back to the question, is it about revenue?
It's all about, listen, it's all about the money, but
That's how you guys attack me.
No,
You're trying
no,
to change
no.
stuff, right? Is it about revenue? Now it's my turn now.
it's, you have to hit the, you know, listen, we have to hit the number. That's it, we have to hit the number, and
Unless we
that's
get
the
the ordinance changed.
Well,
No,
Well,
we never
it
get,
looks
but-
like this year we are gonna hit.
yeah, we're gonna exceed it.
Well, and can I bring up my point around this, because I am concerned that we now, according to these financials, we have 1 month left, we have June before the fiscal year.
You don't even have June, you have 15 days. So the question is,
So,
what are you buying now?
so
Because,
can I finish?
yes,
So right now, as of the end of May, you have $246,000, and you only have 1 more month of expenses. So how, and I'm agreeing with Jim that we need to spend some of this money, because last year we left $120K on the table. And that money we'll never see again. We were given that money to spend and we didn't spend it. Now we're given this money, and if we don't spend it,
Is it going back to the general fund?
of course,
Well, we already started asking for new equipment and.
but are you gonna get it in?
No, you're not gonna have it in on time. It doesn't matter.
That's, I don't know the answer to
I already had this conversation twice with Jerry. I mean, no offense, here's how you have to do it. It's not like you're getting a star for handing the money back to the town,
that.
right? I mean, you're not, so,
But it's also not like, hey, give me my money back, they're gonna give it to me.
well, that's why we have to set the reserves and,
Well,
but
then-
the other-
that's not
I think what
right.
Gail's trying to
Like
say
saying,
also,
are there
what do you
things
need? Well, buy it.
operational, are there things that you
Yes.
don't need capital for? Are there things operational that you could buy now? And I would encourage you to buy those things to use up some, so we're not leaving that money.
I think somewhere in Jerry's report, didn't he say we started that conversation for new equipment?
The equipment is capital, that's capital equipment. What she's talking about, operating expenses. So, materials, backpacks, hedge trimmers, things of that. I mean, get Peter brought this up last year. Jerry, go get these things. No, I don't need 10 of them. Well, go buy a couple of them, then you have them. I mean, start thinking about doing, you
You know,
gotta
these
think
divot
different.
boxes that we've talked about, oh, they're so expensive, well, guess what, we can afford them.
Just,
Buy shovels, anything, just to
yeah, you're right, do divot
It's gonna
boxes,
break
right?
anyway.
The divot boxes are all busted. They're all busted. Those called the green things, they're all,
And then backup, but you're gonna get the sand, the divot,
yeah, I mean,
buy extra. Yeah, I'm
that's
concerned we're gonna leave a lot of money on the table.
true.
Did we get the dump truck in Kubota?
The dump truck is ordered, but it's gonna take a while to get
Yeah, so that was approved a year ago.
here.
How about the Kubota?
Nothing for the Kubota.
Yeah, a year.
Mhm.
It's taking a year to get it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, do we need anything for the clock?
Yeah, we need a
All right,
plaque.
do we need something for the clock?
Well, you got the money.
In order.
I mean, really, you got the money.
What about the clock?
You know,
Well,
I'm
we
just
don't, we
saying,
don't have a plaque yet for the clock, and we don't have the money for the clock. Can we go to, where do we get our plaques from? Can we give them,
Prepay it?
$3,000 and prepay and say, listen, we're gonna buy a plaque from you, here's $3,000. Put it on, inventory, and we'll come up with what we're gonna say, and, wherever we get plaques from. Because we don't have money for a plaque. We got it. But we do have it.
So why don't we do that?
I mean, we're already transferring funds that we haven't used to pay for what happened in the pump house and irrigation.
Good. Well, I was
It's
gonna
like
say, yeah, Jerry's
30,000.
report, he says, it's $20,000
Yeah.
to fix it, so,
We,
but
we
you have
didn't
20
get that on air, that's from expenditure lines we didn't use.
We need, you have the money to do it.
So on number one, Kay, did they, the guy that cut the cheese down, did they hit a sprinkler or something? Because I saw that
They
water.
hit the town line.
Oh.
Then they call before you dig?
No, I don't know how it happened, that's just an update of that.
Yeah. And I saw the water running, I said, where's this water coming from?
I did have something to circle on this one.
nice job of putting the rope around the driving range, keeping cars.
That's a great idea.
That was a great move. Great move.
We wanted to keep the grass.
Is the clock going in the senior area?
Driving range looks
Probably
nice.
not. I don't know.
I like that they have a clock there.
I'm trying to get Peter to make me a sign. I'm late on it, but I need a sign that says 200 max and mats only. No one's.
Oh, hitting drivers
buildings
and-
getting
yeah.
killed. Like, we
Did they
had
have
2
them
cars
before?
get hit already.
Really?
Every like 10 minutes the roof is getting hit.
Oh.
So
Didn't we have them before?
Yeah, no one-
it said
75 yards.
irons only.
No, but
So
200
what-
200 yards.
Yeah.
So they
125.
changed, they changed it because the women could use a driver.
Right, that's what I mean. So
No, there's a
Yeah.
sign in the men's room.
the men's room.
Yeah, there's a big sign there,
Really,
it says
that's
no
the
drivers.
place for it.
Just
Yeah, but
irons.
185 yards
Yeah.
is the max.
Just the max.
Does it
Yeah.
say the
I
yard?
just we need to start policing that.
Yeah, no, as long as you hit the driver, that's what's getting down there, the driver's going down there. The irons-
I'm sure these kids are hitting irons down there
Yeah.
too, so believe me, it's just the way it is. All right, anything else on the P and L?
I think one of the things, I don't know whether this is considered P and L with.
Well, that's Mark's thing, yeah.
But one of the things that I like to look at is the revenue per round. You know, like, there's a big discrepancy from 23 to 22 on how much per round is being made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, our rounds are down by a couple grand, but
But why is it up $16? That's a lot. I mean, something's odd.
does that mean we're charging rates better now and not giving discounts, or?
Are they plugging in all the season pass holders and counting that as a round? Are we counting the rounds the same is where I was coming from before? Are we comparing apples to apples? That's, and I don't know.
The thing is, like, we could be down in rounds,
But we could not be down in rounds, we could be at the same in rounds.
but either year could be the question, like.
Yes, and that's why I mean,
Who knows if both are accurate?
I don't know.
But
Well, isn't this from some system that's?
Well, the one from 22
It
is
doesn't,
from the old
just
system.
because it came from a computer means it's okay. No, that doesn't matter.
No,
It's, you know, I know people think like that, it's like, no, and I know you don't, but are they inputting this, are they accounting for them the same, is really what it
Yes,
comes
I
down to,
understand.
you know what I mean? I don't know, I mean, so, I don't know, we'd have to audit it.
Yeah, well, I'll look into it more, but
It
I
just
think
seems,
it's just interesting that our revenue per round is $55.
Well,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we're down 2,000 rounds.
it doesn't make sense.
Well, it does because the revenue's up. I bet if you divided the 9360 into 517, I don't have my phone, and you divided 39 into 465, or, you know, that's what your number is.
Yeah, but the round, that division is correct, what we're trying to say is that are we accounting for all the rounds the same way?
If you had
as we did in the
11,000
past?
rounds in 22, and then you average $55 on top of that,
No,
that's a big change.
It's
right?
huge, but I look around the parking lot sometimes and it's not as busy as it used to be.
Yeah.
So rounds we know are down, the question,
I think normal rounds are down,
okay.
but when you look at men's club,
The
women's club, leagues, outings,
So,
Morning's filled, but,
seniors,
you know,
those are
11 o'clock
full.
on, I'm like, well, or,
Yeah.
you know, even 12:30, it's like, okay, so it's not as crowded as it used to be.
Well, that's why we're doing the special.
No, I just-
From 12 to 3 is like a
Yeah.
ghost town
That's great.
sometimes. So maybe that's where we're
That could
losing.
be, the effects of COVID,
Yeah.
you know? Okay, like, open discussion,
Well, just,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
who produces this? Mark produces
Yeah,
this?
that's Mars.
Yes. That's right.
Open discussion?
What you got there?
I think, I welcome a lot of feedback from the commission. But I think it's just gotta be, like, just let me know, don't take it upon yourselves to police whatever policy or bring it up to my attention. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you see something wrong on the course,
Don't do it
don't police
yourself.
it,
Right.
let me police it.
Okay, I did yell at the kid who drove the car across the Ninth Green.
Right, that had to be
Really?
done right away.
Yeah, you said that.
Drove a cart, a driving cart across the Ninth Green as I
Like,
was
did you
pulling.
tell one of us that day, or?
Yes,
Who?
I told Mark and I think you know, I don't think you were there.
Can you do it, can you tell my staff? So
Sure,
we can
sure.
do something about it?
Did I tell you that story?
I don't
You were
know,
told
I think
us
I
that
did.
at the.
I told you that at
You
the
did?
commission meeting.
Last
Yeah.
commission.
but, you know,
But when you said card, I thought you meant.
No, driving cart across the green, the Ninth Green,
when did it happen?
about a month ago.
About a month ago? I mean, I think you just let, like, myself know or Jerry know. And
Yeah, I
that'll be
would.
the quickest way to,
Yeah, she'll just tell the girls, and I did tell,
And if you get the card number.
all of you have my contact info. You know, it doesn't have to be to the girl at the desk.
Okay.
Email
Yeah.
me if y'all want my text,
yeah, I
give
have
you all
that
my
now, I'll
text.
text you then, I know.
But like, it goes back to
Communication, yeah.
what they were saying, right? Like,
If she gave the card number, you could automatically be able to look it up.
yeah.
I didn't go to the cart number.
You know the kid? You know the kid?
Yeah, I mean, it's great that we're all here trying to figure this out. But maybe just let us police it, you know, just so no one gets confused on our channels of
I just couldn't resist as I drove by.
Yeah. Things like that, I don't know how you would be able to.
Was he a player or?
Yeah, he was a player,
Oh,
he
he
was
played.
like, I guess it was 16.
Yeah.
He said he didn't know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, if he's a player.
Well, you didn't know you couldn't drive across the gate?
Yeah.
No.
Then you shouldn't be in the car.
What else you got?
Right.
So, like, for someone to use a car, what do you call the one previous to the license?
The permit?
Does the permit count?
I don't, they don't need a license, they just need a certain age, right?
Yeah, do they have a, just?
You're supposed to have a driver's license.
I thought,
Yeah,
well, you're
permit.
supposed to be 16.
No, I don't.
You
think
gotta have a driver's license.
Every course I work for is different.
Oh, I don't know if, no.
For a motor vehicle, if you have a permit, you gotta have an adult with
An adult.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Say, yeah,
So it's not
yeah.
16
you.
anymore?
You can't just take, be a permit and just drive a car.
Right,
Yeah, you know.
Oh, you have
A
to
learner's
have-
permit?
yeah, not without a.
Well, wait a minute, I think they might have changed that, because a friend of mine, his daughter, she's like 16 and she's got a learning permit,
Yeah.
and she can drive, but she can't have anybody in the car with her, you know, no other,
The parents, that's it,
the
right?
parents and that's it, no other kids in the car with her.
Oh, that's what
But I
it's-
That's
thought,
what I said.
right, but I thought if you to drive a golf cart, you had to have a driver's license.
I don't know.
Well, because there are people who are 25, lived in New York City their whole life,
Don't
and
have
don't
a
have a
license.
driver's license.
Yeah.
They can drive a
That's
car.
a good point.
So
I
16 and
thought
over?
it was 16.
I thought it was
I don't
16
know
too.
why I thought
That's
that.
about the common rule that,
Right.
where I work.
Mhm.
I
16
think it
and
should
over.
be 16 or over.
Makes sense.
You guys wanna think about it,
Yeah,
we'll visit it next time.
we'll table that one for now. Alright, what else you got?
It's been, like, you know, every day is different, every day is getting better.
How's the?
Listen, I think that, your staff is doing a great job. I think
Yeah,
they are,
yeah,
they're
of
all,
course,
you know,
it's good.
they're doing a great job. The starters are doing, you know, the car cleaner, they're doing well. The shirts, the name tags, great idea, right?
I give a lot of kudos to the staff, Mark's staff, Mark.
Yeah,
You know, they're all
all
there
of them,
working
man,
as a
and
team.
it's good, it's good.
You know,
Is
it's
the
good.
speed of, since you had the sign in, is that speeding up things for?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's still times
I heard
when,
any comments about it,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that.
there's still times when, you know,
Yeah,
you
but you
can't
have
please
that anyway,
everyone, but, you
you
know,
have that anyway,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, if you're a season pass holder and you're still mad at me that you're saying online, I find it to be your fault that you're not signed up on the express line,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah, I had to tell somebody.
You did?
At the express line. yeah,
Beat
he's
him
gotta
up?
pass. What's that?
You beat him up for me?
Next time I see you.
No, I mean, it's, the only reason why we did the express line is that we're thinking of the season pass holders and,
Right.
you know, not wasting
No, I
time
think it's a
on a
great
line
idea.
for $1 or $2, so
Yeah.
if you're still standing in line for $1 or $2, you gotta catch up, you know, you gotta put some money in. So,
I think the course looks good.
yeah,
Really good, better than last year, and the bunkers are raked and
Oh,
really good.
yeah.
And the flowers in the front is, as you drive in, is it's improving the entrance. I called up, I think it was Public Works.
That was you? About the
trimming.
trees? Yeah.
So when you come onto Southington Road, from Timberlake,
So I'm
you
leaving
can
the
see
club.
right, yeah, you're leaving it. You're going on to Southington Road.
It's tough to
either
see
right or
right, it's
left.
tough to see right.
It's tough to see right and left. And in the past, I've trimmed the ones on the left, because I always
This
see
time,
left.
especially the
So I don't know if they trimmed it or,
Well, the thing is, like, that's out of the golf course legislation, so I gotta get with Steve Woody.
That's a state rule.
That's a state, yeah.
Yeah, we were told the state has.
That's a state rule.
Is that
State has-
what's
Yeah, the
coming out?
state's gotta come
Because
and do
it's a
that.
state road. It's not a,
Steve Woody, he's our town,
that's what we've been told
It is,
in the
yeah.
past.
Yeah.
he probably has,
Town trees expert.
well, no, he controls like parks, recs, all that stuff. But he probably has a channel to get a hold of the state.
Probably, because there are other state roads.
Yeah, like we can't, Jerry can't cut it,
Yeah.
you know.
really?
So is
Yeah.
he.
Right.
What?
He worked at DOT.
Yeah, that, you would have to call Mayor and Garage.
Yeah, should I tell him I know you?
Yeah, just tell me no, they'll come down and cut it, take your head away.
Or should I not?
Nobody
Tell
needs to
them I
be
know.
cut, going up to the clubhouse.
Yeah, on the right.
On the right, all
Correct.
those arborvitae's
Correct.
there, they're really overgrown into the road.
I talked to Bill and Jerry about that this week, so.
Maybe Steve Wood could put in there, because they got that
They got a
machine, the
yeah.
machine that they go around
Yeah,
town
with a
with.
fish, what?
The flailer.
You could just lay it out and cut
So
your
flailer.
Yeah, this time of year is the worst because you get that spurt of growth
Correct, yeah.
and then it tapers off as it's drier weather.
They, P and Z Park and Zoning, or Plan and Zoning, got a hold of me after, they didn't say you called, they said a resident called.
It was me.
It was
And
you,
they were
huh?
supposed to call me back and they never did.
They were supposed to call you back? Or
They
someone
told me,
was?
they told me, well, I left the voicemail, voice message, and they said they'd call me back, they never did, so. What it got to you?
It got to me. One last thing is, the golf teams for the high school, they wanted to put a sign in the front.
Yeah.
Yes.
To commemorate, all their championships.
Well, boys and girls, right?
The Lady Nyers said they would look into donating to it and all that stuff. I started a conversation with planning and zoning again to see if we could get it up there, because I know in the past banners have been denied.
Yeah, well,
Right.
everybody else has got them, but we can't have them, so.
That's another operational expense.
Let me, what, for the sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's operational.
So, but I'm just trying to see where we can put it, and what kind of, donations we can get.
Nana Bove was gonna
Right.
go down and check with somebody who did the sign for
She's the one who brought it to my
Sage
attention.
Park, yeah. And she was gonna go down and talk to them about some dates and details.
Yeah, so hopefully we could figure something out for the high school teams and.
And she said that the athletic department, the Berlin
Booster
Athletic
Club.
Department is gonna donate.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I guess they were thinking for next spring.
If you ask me, that's about the timeline I'm thinking,
Yeah. Yeah.
Things seems to move slow from budget to year to budget year, so,
Yeah.
I've heard people say that, okay, the starter wants the receipt, yes, I understand that. But also, people like to keep their receipts. So is it possible to print out 2 receipts?
yeah, and just ask us. I don't wanna just print 2 receipts all the time.
They do it Stanley.
Sorry,
They do it Stanley,
do they?
with 2 receipts, one you have to
But
return in
some
and
people
one you keep.
might not.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
think,
mean for the starters, give it to the starters?
Well, the starter always wants the
yeah, but
receipt.
they should just have.
I know sometimes the girls, they'll be like, you want a copy for yourself or something. But if we happen to not ask, just let us know.
Yep, okay, okay, I'll tell this person. Need that?
Is it wrong staff?
No.
Okay.
Instead of an iPhone, take a picture of the receipt.
I used to email.
That's what the starter sent to him and he was pissed.
I used to email receipts, but then there's so many people that want to take my head off of it, so we stopped.
Oh, I was wondering, because I was
We
getting receipts too.
stopped the email.
Oh, yeah,
email.
for $1 I was getting a receipt.
Really?
Yes. I get like.
That's the wrong email address I have on file.
Wow.
I changed email to sound good. Oh, goodness. So what else you got?
It's all from me.
That's it. All right. Account balance is T-sign 5578.
Just because we put a down payment on the plot.
Okay, good. And that's fine. So sooner or later we have to figure out, are they still trying to generate more revenue with the T-signs, or is it going?
Well, I think if you want sponsor signs, you're gonna have to.
Somebody's gonna have to bang some, okay.
I mean, I'm planning on using CIP for concrete and all the
No problem.
the
No problem.
installation.
So,
Okay.
All right, so who's in charge of that, to call, dial for dollars on those things, to see if they wanna re-up, because now it's that time.
Well, Ms. Gail put that sign up in our golf shop like, what, a couple months ago.
Yeah, but unless we promote it.
Yeah, well,
I
not only
reached
that,
out-
but the people that have the signs up now, you have to call them up, and say, listen, it's time to re-up, so what do you wanna do? Otherwise, you can't stand it.
Well, I didn't start the T-sign thing.
And they're 500?
That was, yeah,
Yeah,
$500.
it's $500, so $500 for 2 years, or $500 a year, or whatever it's gonna be, say, listen,
Those,
time's
the
up,
little- the
right?
ones have been up there.
You've had them up since day one, so those are, it's not,
If they don't re-up,
It's
we're
not-
gonna
not
take
infinity.
some.
Like,
you know?
do you wanna re-up when you have polls that's not sponsored?
Right, it doesn't make
How
sense
do you
to go to
re-
me.
well, you're already on a sign, you already have the sign, right? So
Right.
how many holes don't have signs?
Was 6?
About 6.
So,
Well, then,
talk to Chris Edge and see, because he's the one that came in here saying, oh my gosh, they're gonna,
would it have to be,
Economic
would it have to be $500? I mean, they're already in. I mean, 'cause
Well,
No,
that's the
this is
re-up.
for a new
I
one.
mean, for the new one,
And
but
then-
I'm
but
saying,
the re-up,
we're
how much
talking
is
about
the
the
re-up?
re-up.
The re-up
We've
was
the-
never,
what
we've
would-
never.
Sure we
No
did,
price.
we did, we talked about a re-up
We
fee.
talked about it early on when we first developed the program.
Right.
Because we thought, one, they would all sell out, that was the discussion, and we said, okay, when they're all sold out, we talked about them getting it for, I think it was 2 years, or 3 years. They haven't all sold out, so, yeah, you could say if they don't re-up, you're gonna take it down.
Well, yeah, sorry. I'm sure everybody will re-up, if it's cheap enough, they can care less.
Yeah.
A couple $100 is
Right
not, $200 for the year or something like that, but listen, it's time to, maybe not for now, right, but, here's what we're going forward, here's what we're gonna do, just,
It'd be nice to try to
The
sell
goose-
the rest of
just-
them.
For the new signs that people purchase for 500, do they get anything for that?
Because there's something.
the sign's up there, yeah, it's up there. And it's been up
But I
there
thought they
for,
got something for it too.
no, the sign's been up there for gosh knows how long, right, since we started, 4 years now, so
But
you've
this
gotten
is
a
for
deal.
the new one.
It's the same thing.
The
They
same
go
as
through
whatever it
the
is, it
sign.
is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know we have like Sal asked me that question, how long, if you get somebody to re-up, if you get a new
Two-year
person
thing,
for
so,
$500, how many years would we give them?
I think it was it was supposed to be 2 years or something.
Right, and that
That's already
runs
written, it's all documented somewhere, and you have to go through, either Mark or Jerry's got, they have this. They say they don't, that's baloney, they have.
Well,
It's in our minutes.
Yeah, it's got,
I thought they got a force for signing up.
No.
No,
I think
that
There
was,
was, there was something they got. They
no,
did
that was,
something.
that was
Chris,
the 50th
Anniversary.
anniversary sponsorship.
Okay.
There were levels, and yes, if you were a certain level, you got a foursome
Yeah.
for the 50th, and we still owe those people, except for one sponsor, we still owe them their foursomes, which I hope we plan to give to them at the dedication.
there you go, that's even better, so here's your certificate, boom, right, a special certificate, There you
Well,
go.
it's their foursome that
Yeah.
they,
fair enough.
that the town council approved when they approved the sponsorship levels 4 years ago.
CIP balance, all right, so we have about, say 22,000 to play with for this fiscal year. For the most part, the fiscal year's over, right, so they're already closing off their books, they're probably closing off their books next week. Well, they don't know, just telling you they are, they, because everything gets to come through, so, I mean, that's why, going forward, you and I can talk about how, but
No, I'm pretty sure we closed it, right? All our POs for this
yeah,
fiscal
they had to be in by one.
They were due weeks ago.
But the whatever's in the.
No, they can't close it off that quick.
Well, not weeks, like
But
maybe
yeah,
2 weeks.
No, they should have kept, they should have been open until like now. The 15th is usually when you start closing things off. But, that's in my experience, but I could be wrong, so how they're dealing with things. But so you still have a balance going forward into the fiscal year, so yeah, right, I mean, it's like, again, we have to start figuring out what we're gonna do, reprioritize, I mean, a lot of tree cutting's going on right now, and pump house, yeah, you've got some unexpected
The pump
things.
house is, that's where Kevin's gonna help us.
How about bridges, I mean, when do you get there, yeah?
Bridges, they took it off capital, but it has to get put back in. It's tier 1, meaning
It was, listen, the
one of
budget,
the
the
first
budget
things to
meeting,
come
the budget
back.
meeting that I went to, those were on there.
no, it got cut off in the final budget.
It did?
Uh-huh. But it's tier 1, meaning it'll be one of the first things to get back, when they redo capital.
Well, that was a.
That's from my understanding from Kevin and Jerry Paris. He's board of finance.
Jerry, back it up.
Yeah, he's my finance guy, he tells me all the time. So.
All right, director's report. We've all seen it. Questions?
Range is doing all right. I mean,
$4,000.
$4,000 for the month of a busy month, you know.
You've had $9,000 so far to year to date, is that something like that, right?
Something
What
like
does
that.
that compare to last year?
I don't
You
have.
think you're gonna
I
hit
can
the
ask Mark, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
plus.
but it wasn't part of the town.
No.
But it's, you know, with good weather, we've had a busy month, you know, like Mark said, I don't think it rained one day. Or
No.
we closed one day over the month, so, a lot of these things we probably went over already, like as we talked
Yep.
about our agenda,
No.
so if you'll have any questions, just let me know.
No. As far as Mark's revenue was attached to the balancing law of checking with Saul about the new system. So he's asking the same questions that I am. Mark's about the revenue reporting, make sure we're on the same page, everything's being reported the same way. And I think everything else, lighting attention to E-Drive cards. Everything else, you know, we've covered everything else. There's nothing else that sticks out. Anything stick out for you guys at all or no? Berlin High, yes, let's congratulate Berlin High School, Jimmy Barnes and Cameron.
Yeah.
And the girls, congratulations on behalf of,
Great.
yeah, great. And really, congratulations. I expect that to continue down the road. Because they've some young players that are phenomenal, so that's great.
Yeah.
Junior golf has taken off, so, you know, now that's kudos to Mark and his staff that, you know, they've kind of ingrained that in here. So that's great. It is. All right, I'm good with that. Anything else?
We're really gonna start pushing pace of play
Good.
during tournaments.
Well, on Sundays, you mean?
I think when we have like men's clubs and these weekend tournaments,
Yeah.
really gotta start pushing it.
And then whether it's slow?
It's taking like 5 hours.
See, that's crazy. 4 hours. It should take more than 4 hours, man. Even that, it's like.
It's the same culprits every week.
Well, then.
And I think it's like self-awareness too, right? Like, if y'all are playing golf, you don't see anyone in front of you, but you gotta be self-aware that you're slow, right? Like,
Yeah.
but we'll start pushing it,
No. The last tournament we played, it depends on the format too.
That too, yeah.
All right, because on number 6, there were 4 groups waiting on number 6 because they're trying to get on the green in 2.
Listen.
You got some big hitters.
Yeah.
That's tough. Listen,
That's the issue.
I hit the ball a long way. Sometimes I'm waiting, but I'm not, you know.
And in
I didn't
on
know.
12 Sunday, we had a little problem on Sunday because when you hit up, the guys say, okay, hit up behind them, and then they can putt out. So that's what backed up 12.
I see.
But it was just something that happened.
12 is
That's what it used to be.
slow, right?
Right, that's what it used to be. They would guys
Backlog, it's like the LIE.
They'll hit, you flag them up, and let them hit, and then you go putt out and then go from there. That kept number 12 moving. But otherwise, it was decent, but they had the pin was some bad spot there. But what it is, that was the name of the game. You know?
I played Frontiers, all right? and number 12, and I brought this up prior to you coming here. I'd like to see another set of gold teams on the other side, on the left side, because the women have one on the right side and they have one on the left side. And it'd be nice to change it up a little bit.
Take the water out of play?
Yeah, well, no, the water would be in play on the left side, but it'd be nice to play.
Not on the right side, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, it's only on the right side?
It's only on the right side.
That's on the left side with the but they gotta go to number 12 if you're talking number 12.
And to be honest with you, being there on the right side, you gotta watch the guys coming in from number 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it'd be nice to go on the other side occasionally, and, you know, for the men's, league, men's club, they can decide on a tournament which side they wanna play on, if that's an issue with them.
I see.
Sounds good.
But it'd be nice to have a set over on the other side.
No, you were saying 2 sets, one on the right and one on the left, or?
That's what the ladies have.
We have two red, you have red on
Oh,
both.
you do?
Yeah, you have red on both.
And then
Never
you
heard
just
that
pick?
before, huh?
Um,
I can't, why
Now,
can't
the
they?
Niners,
The Niners play.
they'll pick the, right side.
and we go over the board.
I think it's the things that you decide.
I'd like to get back on the left side.
No.
Same spot.
Yeah,
If you have to just.
I'll mention it to Jerry.
Designated, right?
They don't do that.
and you seem a little safer too, one night after watching guys coming down from 11.
I had to yell for it today.
Yeah, you're right, I almost got hit a
Oh, well.
couple times.
I yelled.
All right, Jerry,
Just to see how it goes, you know, if you-
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Jerry's report.
I read it.
I read it, okay, and as far as, you know, the holes, it's like, come on, Jerry, you know what holes are messed up, there's gullies and quite a few of them.
For the
So,
tees?
The tee boxes. I told him about this thing.
I sense a little anger in this.
Yeah, there is, because I'm on one and I haven't been, you know. I mean, you don't have to redo the whole tee box, can't you just level off with dirt? I mean, no offense, you know,
Which tee box is so unlocked?
14 is like a, you know, there's always a gully in there, and there's quite a few of them like that.
Yeah, they lost it.
But the question is, can't, I mean,
They're all.
but why can't we just put topsoil on there? And grass, I mean, seriously.
I think he needs to, realize what y'all are talking about.
They're just,
To him, there's nothing.
no,
You can
well,
talk
out of the
about
ordinary.
that.
tell
Yeah,
Tim a ball, you'll see.
Well, that's the thing.
Go tee up a ball, you'll see exactly.
One year they
what
brought in a roller. They did bring in a roller one year.
Did
Does it work?
No,
No.
cause you gotta put dirt down, you gotta put sand down.
You gotta
To build it up, you gotta roll it up and make it even.
They make I have a lawn leveler, they call it, and it's, you can go online, you can see these things, and, you know, it looks a lot easier when they're doing it there, but let me tell you, it does, you know, with the dirt, it just levels it all out, it does level it all out. You still want that little bit of a pitch so the water runs off, because it just can't be flat, right? I mean, but you don't need gullies in there, and that's really what, you know. That's, yes, unless he puts up a ball and tries to tee it up, then he's, oh, that's what you're talking about.
Well, we'll start with 14 and 8.
That's just,
Eight is the senior teams.
Jerry and I will go over.
you know what, if you want, I'll just bring it up I'll bring it to the course, you can look at it and see if it works. You know what, I got off of Amazon, who cares, you know,
Well,
it's
let us
close.
look at these two teams.
Yeah.
And, give it a good judgment.
Okay, what are you looking at as far as the bridges? What are you I mean, what are you thinking on there?
It's gonna be, last week I was even told it might be like concrete bridges.
What, Lyman Orchard has got these wood that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it's like, and they can drive trucks over there. I mean, and you have to worry about the emergency vehicles, because you need access, obviously, right? But you don't need, you know, something that's gonna look like something out of the Masters or anything like that. You just don't need that. You need something that's gonna last you, yes, and then, but if this is gonna work, then I'm not, it doesn't make sense to go for, you know, $1 million for bridges. It just doesn't.
So I think we're definitely not going to the expensive route, but we're also not going to the cheapest route where it needs work in 5 years.
Yeah.
I just know that Kevin is willing to help us, so we can do it one shot.
All the bridges at once? Really? Because it was actually scheduled to go over a couple of years, you realize that, right?
Yeah, that's because our first quote for metal bridges was so expensive.
Oh, okay, I
We
didn't
went away
know.
from metal.
Metal, okay,
You know,
fair enough.
We were going to mafia blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
They want to do concrete.
Just look at Lyman Orchard. Talk to Lyman, please.
I know Jerry, Earth Contractors, myself, and Kevin we have a meeting that needs to be scheduled about bridges.
Okay.
So I'll have a better update on our next meeting.
Thank you.
Hopefully, if we
Okay,
get
no,
that
thank you,
meeting.
thank you very much. The collar thing, that was my thing, it's just like, I don't know, it looks like, some bad acne or some crap like that, I don't know what the heck it is, it's like,
When you see spots like that,
they're all over the place,
it's
so
from
it's like,
two things. One, we've brought greens in. right?
yeah, see, you reckon it's smaller.
You're making it smaller. And two, if you're seeing those spots on top of a bunker, that only means all those bunker sand has gone on the grass.
Well, no, just around the green collar, too, the collar I see them
Yeah.
doing,
I think
but on the
that's from
outside of
bringing
it,
it in.
oh, you think that, yeah, okay, alright, fair enough,
It sounds like that's a fall project.
got it, okay,
So
I didn't know, I didn't.
someone, I was chipping on the putting green and they showed me what you're talking about. It sits down,
Oh my gosh, so
they can't get under it.
yeah.
He called it a Timberland lie.
That's what we call it. Welcome to Timberland, man. That's exactly what we call
Is
them.
that what he called it? So-
I thought it'd be my guys not playing with your guys.
That's what these people are talking about, the Timberland lie, you know, so,
That's too funny.
yeah.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
What did Jerry say on it? It was like, yes, to reseed or something?
Yeah, it's gonna oversee, it's a reseed, yeah, overseed it and reseed it. That's it. The timber, welcome to Timberland. And the sand, the sand, when they came in, I was like, where do you know, it's like, where do they get this stuff from? It's like,
I think that's the next thing from on the course, the bunkers, the bridges, and his irrigation. Those are the three big projects coming up.
Joe just sent me an email that he goes, I didn't get your note, and I didn't get his note, that he can't make it tonight. Yeah, so he had work issues. So let that be noted. Anything else? Well, guess what, folks? It's 7:52 right now. Do I have Jim Green? The motion to adjourn, second by Gail. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
A new record, 7:52 is the new record. We're shooting for an hour and a half. That's the key. That's the key.
Let me unrecord.
Yes.
There were two bunnies out there, I
I
never
see them
seen
still
that.
up there.
There's still one out there, they were jumping over each other, they were playing.
Yeah, we have a little bit
Yeah,
of
there's
feel,
one.
they can race around.